All right, Houston, this is my fourth try. I'm going to zoom through this and give you the most accurate forecast that you have ever had. Let me move my zoom bar out of the way. And it's right here. This is tomorrow's forecast, and I'm sticking with it. 58, 34, 9 knots, zero precip. This is from the USL. Yesterday, this was spot on. The wind speeds for all the other models were lower than this, and so I knocked off a knot from the wind because the rest of the models were not that high. If we go in reverse from my tabs here, look at the model numbers first. The National Blended Models is forecasting 32 and 57 for the low and the high. Temperature standard deviation is a little bit higher in the morning, lower later in the day. Sky cover is mostly clear here. Wind speed is all less than 5 knots and no precipitation forecast. The NAM Moss guidance, low of 33, high of 59. Wind speeds, again, are fairly low, all less than 5 knots, clear skies throughout the day, and no precipitation. The GFS Moss, 32 and 59, clear skies, winds steadily coming out of the north-ish, and wind directions are all much less than 5 knots. So you can see that the USL was consistently higher than the rest of these, but because all of these were lower, that's why I knocked a knot off my forecast. The plumes show general agreement. Here's 5 knots that the wind is going to be less than 5 knots for most of the day. We'll see why in a second. Dew point here is fairly tight and it remains low. There's not a big surge of incoming moisture. Temperature is fairly tight spread. Most of the models are between 46 and 50. There's a little outlier here. Average high, this was earlier today for this afternoon, of about 47. Forecast time starts here, 0600 through 0600 here. And you can see the spread does get higher as we move further out, but I think that's less from the time that we're getting out, and just that there's different variations in the initialization of these models. So the tightest agreement is in the morning, and we did see that somewhere else, I believe. High spread of 59 degrees to 51 degrees. So everybody's agreeing that it's over 50. The skew T, do I have? Yes, I have the skew Ts. I do not. I only have this one for some reason. This is for tomorrow after mid-afternoon. And this looks fairly similar for the whole day. There's low relative humidity at the surface, all throughout the atmosphere up until about 200, 250 millibars, where the relative humidity approaches 100%. And that goes along with some high cirrus clouds. 800 millibar air temperatures are warming. This was earlier today. This light blue is freezing. The reddish pink line is freezing, and then the green is above freezing. So as we move forward, we can see that the 850 millibar layer is warming up. That's nice to see. You can see this big cold air mass from the Arctic is shifting south and to the east, and that's going to completely bypass Houston for the next several days, which is good news. 500 millibar vorticity. We see an area of vorticity here over Houston, which could support some high cloud development. And I believe that this is because we're in a region of right entrance region of a jet streak. You can see some faster wind speeds here. This would be the right entrance region, but let's look at the 250 millibar speeds, or 250 millibar height with the wind. 150 knots here in this jet streak going off the east coast. This may be a little far back, but this is definitely in the right entrance region. So some lifting here for some high clouds. Again, not a lot of moisture at the surface, so these are going to be very high clouds. The surface analysis right now just shows these high pressure systems with very widely spaced pressure bars. As we move forward, we see those highs continuing to shift to the east, but mostly just kind of lingering around until tomorrow evening. That is going to create very light winds, a very lazy general circulation in this direction. And currently the winds in Houston are coming from the east and south. And so that's going to be warm air coming in from the Gulf as well as from over the Mexico area. 500 millibar map. This is similar to the vorticity map that we looked at. It's just showing the wind speeds. We don't need to dwell on that. Visible map. One of my favorites, visible satellite. We can see the high cirrus clouds coming from the southwest. That moisture is likely coming from the Pacific Ocean, going right over Mexico. Probably some orthographic lifting here in the mountainous area of Mexico. And there are no low cirrus or low cumulus or boundary layer clouds over the Houston area. If you look right in here, all of those low clouds are over the ocean where that cold air mass is over the warmer water. So mostly clear skies except for these high cirrus layers coming in, which could impact nighttime temperatures. They may not get as cold as we think. This is the water vapor image. Again, we see some moisture coming in at the higher levels. Current METARs, currently 47 degrees, relative humidity 63, still some high pressure, and currently winds from the east at 9 knots, which surprised me a bit. Calm winds the hour before. Yeah, fairly calm winds all day long. The meteogram throughout today showed winds from the north, and then as that high pressure system slid off to the southeast, the winds shifted from the east and now from the south. Although the most recent METARs was saying it's from the east, so that's seems a little odd to me. I'm not sure how it swung all the way around, but time will tell. Snowpack is across a huge chunk of the country, but it skips Houston, and because our winds tomorrow are not going to be coming from the north, we don't have to worry about cold advection from the winds itself. Our wind is going to be coming from the east, southeast, and southwest, and it's going to be very mild, mostly less than 5 knots. The high pressure system that's sitting there is somewhat anomalous. It's about 2 standard deviations above normal in terms of likelihood. So yeah, take that for what it means. Clear skies currently, overcast skies over the ocean as that cold air goes over the warm water. And again, these high pressure systems are just sitting there. And that is that. Again, my final word is that this was the most accurate yesterday, but I'm taking off a couple of knots here for the wind, and you may want to add a degree or so for the temperature because of those high cirrus clouds. Same thing for tomorrow, high cirrus clouds, you may want to knock off a degree there. So 57.33, you decide. Thanks.